Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep, I can.
All right. Okay, so um, just some quick administrative stuff. We're probably not going to have a real long webinar. Um, so everybody, I just wanted to congratulate you on the midterm results. I know it was a very difficult midterm, and taking it online like you did, having to put in the exact answers and everything, um, this it was a hard midterm. So I was really impressed with the results. I was even more impressed with the corrections that were submitted. I really liked what you guys did with identifying what you had done wrong and then telling me how to do it correctly. And I feel like a lot of people said in emails to me and stuff like that that it really helped them to do those corrections and to see what they did wrong and to think about what they did wrong. So, whether or not a professor gives you that opportunity going forward for the extra credit, I encourage you to do that in every class because it's only going to help you learn the material. And especially when you get into classes that have a lot of problems like finance and accounting and stuff like that, it benefits you greatly to do that. So just keep that up. Sorry. And keep up the good work. Keep up the hard work. You're doing great. And I look forward to the end of the class seeing everybody getting A's and B's. So if you have not yet, make sure that you prepare to do the paper extra credit. Make sure you're doing in-text citations, meaning citations up in your paragraphs, and make sure that you understand that as an undergrad, um, so the theory behind research, and they'll tell you this throughout school, so if you go on to graduate school, go on to get doctorates, what have you, until you've been conferred as a doctor, you're not an expert at anything and you should cite everything. So literally, like in my doctoral program, I cite virtually every sentence because um, I'm technically not an expert yet, right? So I don't expect you guys to cite every sentence. If you cite, a couple of sentences in the paragraph, that's great. But just let me know where you're getting your information from. That's how research papers should work. Literally, you should be telling, the reader where you got your information from. Opinions are great, but you have to be able to qualify your opinion, okay? Meaning you have to be able to say there's something behind this. So you can't just say, like for instance in this research paper, I believe NetSuite is the best ERP out there. Okay, well I'm glad you believe that, but why? What gives you that sense of confidence? So tell me, what's the research on it? Why is it the best? You know, compare it to others. Why are they not the best? What are they missing? What do they lack? And I'm just giving that as an example. And yes, of course, I'm prejudiced to NetSuite, but it. I've been through all of them, so I can tell you which one's easiest to work with. um, so anyway, make sure you take advantage of that opportunity because it does literally mean the difference between an A and a B or a B and a C or a C and a D. 75 points can swing you much higher. And I'm pretty lenient on the papers. I want quality, but I'm going to reward you for effort. So, just keep that in mind. Put forth the effort, and it'll pay off in the end. So, okay. So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about on those two things. The final will be week 8, and you have to pay attention to week 8 because week 8's a little weird in timing. Um, week 8 will be a short week. It only goes to Thursday. So your finals are actually going to be due on Thursday. Your homework, because of that, will be due on Monday. You have access to go ahead and even start looking at your final, okay? It is a take-home final, right? So it will be available well before that week starts, and you can start looking at it, start working through it, take all the time you need. It's not timed. It's open book, open notes, calculator, do whatever you need to do to work through those problems. Just don't, work with each other. I expect you to make an independent effort. So, but
So we can start on it whenever.
you can start on it as soon as it becomes available, and I think,
Okay.
hold on, let me look. Let's go into that and see when it's available. It'll be available after October 16th.
Okay.
So that's 10 days from now.
Cool.
And that is, come on. Sorry guys, I think I'm coming down with a cold. Anyway, so it'll be available October 16th. So you'll have plenty of time to finish it. So just make sure you take your time, work through the problems. What I always tell my students is work. I think there's only 10 problems. Let me check here a minute. Let's see. You're not going to see it because it's going to pop on my other screen. There's 10 problems. No, 12. Sorry. No. Keeps on going. 14 problems. So work 2 problems a night. Start working on it a week ahead of time. Work 2 problems a night, and it won't be so cumbersome. And then leave yourself enough time, before the due date to go back and check. Do a check, make sure that everything makes sense. You guys, as I said, you can use your notes, you can use your homework, this is what I recommend is you print out all of the homework solutions and you go through and review them prior to working these problems, okay? Because I can pretty much guarantee you're going to see a lot of similarity, okay? So, with that said, I think everybody will do great on it. So I don't think you have anything to worry about. Just don't overthink the problems. All right. And definitely, we'll talk about this too right before. You're going to want to do it in Excel, and you're going to want to show your work. You have to show your work. If you show your work and I can see where you go wrong, I can give you partial credit. So it's not an all or nothing thing like the midterm was. So you definitely want to show me your work, okay? If I see that you just made an adding error or something like that, that's maybe a point or two. Whereas if you completely miss the concept altogether, then that's a bigger issue. Or if you left one number out, then maybe that's a couple points, right? So, and all of these problems are worth the same amount. So 14 problems divided by 350, which is what the exam's worth, that tells you how much they're worth. So, anyway, they're worth 25 points a piece. All right. So that's pretty much the final that I was going to talk about. Does anybody have any administrative type questions? Anything unclear?
No.
Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about, one question was presented that understanding double declining balance. And double declining balance is in problem 9-3B in chapter 9. So it's really not that difficult. You just have to follow it down correctly. So, for instance, in this problem, it says, to calculate straight line, which is very easy to calculate straight line depreciation. You're just literally taking, in number one, you're taking the 2012 through the 2017, which is 5 years, right? And subtracting out, I think it's this 23,400 from the 218,700, right? So the total cost minus what the salvage value is, the 23,400, and then dividing it by the that's 6 years. 2012 through 2017 is 6 years. And dividing it by that, and that gives you your straight line method. That's easy, okay? The double declining method is going to be virtually the same thing, but just a little bit different. So what you do on double declining, I'll pop up an Excel sheet and show you, give you an example, if Excel will open for me. Okay, apparently my computer's frozen up. Lovely. Alright, let's see if I can do this. So I'm going to show you see if I can do it in Word. Alright, so on this problem, I got Word to open up. So on this problem, basically you're taking the 218,700, what they paid for it, and the double declining balance is going to be calculated at 33 1/3%, or 4 divided by, and then multiplied by 4 divided by 12, or no, I'm sorry, that's a different problem. Now I can't get Word back up. Great. Sorry guys, my computer's having issues. There it is. Okay. Alright, so what you're doing is taking that total value of 218,700, multiplying it by 33 1/3%, okay? And the way that you get that, it's twice the straight line rate, okay? So you take 100% divided by 6 and multiply it by 2, okay? So that's going to give you your percent that you're multiplying all of this by. And so 100% divided by 6, 6 is how many years that you're looking at. So the 2012 through 2017. And then it's double that, hence double. So that gives you your 33 1/3%. So you take this for year one, 218,700 times 33 1/3% gives you 72,900, right? Then in 2013, you're taking 218,700 minus this, the 72,900 that you did in 2012, times 33 1/3%, okay, because you have to take what you've already depreciated off of your original amount. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so you multiply that answer by 33 1/3%, you get 48,600. Now you add that 48,600 to the 72,900 because that's what you've already depreciated, right? And that gives you this 121,500. Then you multiply your result of the 218,700 minus the 121,500 times 33 1/3%. And you see how this works down? Then at the end, whatever you have left, right, is what you subtract out. So you have to keep track of all of these years and add them up, right? So you add all of these up, and then whatever's left of that 218.7 minus whatever the total of this is, so it would be the 175.5 plus the 14.4 is $5,400, right? So that's all that's left at the end of that last year to depreciate, right? So that's how you're getting this double declining balance. Does that make more sense to you guys?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not as bad as it looks. It's just a process, right? All right. What other questions do you have? Anything? Kason, do you have anything? Okie dokie. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions, we will go ahead and end it. Once again, I just want to tell you guys, I want the entire class to hear it. I'm really proud of you guys for the efforts that you're putting in, and I'm really, really happy with the results. I can see everybody's learning a lot, and, I hope that this pays off, that if you have to take managerial, which I think you do, you might have to take it with me, that we'll get through managerial just fine, because it seems like everybody's grasping these concepts really well. So Kason says he's in the next class with me. So yeah, right after this, there's a second half of the fall semester is managerial. And I'm teaching one section of it, and then likely I don't know if I'll do some sections of it in the spring or not. I don't know what they're going to have me teach yet. So.
I think I have you too.
Huh?
I said I think I have you next.
Oh, good. Yeah, I always like to get the repeat offenders. So,
Expect from your teachers.
I'm sorry?
I said it's kind of nice to know what to expect from your professors.
Yeah, it is.
Having to start all the way over.
Right.
What they want, what they don't want, how they teach.
Right. And honestly, I do everything exactly the same in managerial. Everything's done in Excel. Midterm, same thing. You get the opportunity to correct your midterm for extra credit. And there's a paper in there too that you get the opportunity. So I'm pretty predictable.
That's okay.
So there's really no surprises. Managerial is, I will tell you, it's a beast. There's a lot to learn in it, and you gotta, just like this, you've got to keep up and really put in the work to understand the concepts. But we do the same things, webinars, Q&As, things like that. So it'll all be there. So, hopefully this is working. So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all getting on, and we'll end this, and I'll post it to the website here as soon as it can process.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. You guys have a great week.
You too.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.